welcome to 555. You know, I will say, like, I'm not sure if it's 555 or 555. Like, I haven't made a definitive decision yet. So, like, when I figure it out, I'll let you know. But either way, it is five. It's still 5-5. Okay, welcome. I am like really excited to be here. I've been thinking about this for quite a while. And I have some interesting things to share. In preparation, I was like, there's so much to share that I didn't really know where to start. And over the past couple of days, I've been trying to like figure out, there's probably 300 of these that are either ripped up or written on of me creating what I was going to talk about today. And I kept starting over and I was like, I have time, you know, I got this. God will tell me what to do, whatever. And just to be clear, like this is a whole spiritual conversation. So just put your mind there. Okay, cool. I was making notes and looking at things and trying to tap in and receive information. Ciao. Okay. So like I'm asking questions and I'm waiting for answers. I'm like, oh, let's do this. But I got time. Like I'm good. I'm not worried. Like I'm good. And then it's last night, right? And I'm like, I'm starting to panic because I'm like, I don't really have like a set thing to talk about yet. So I started like panicking, right? So I'm like, it's cool. This is when you phone a friend, right? So I start calling my people, you know? I got people to do this, just like a little pick me up, you know? Call one person, no answer. It's okay. Call somebody else, no. I call about three people, and nobody answered the phone. And so this is where we are, right? This is what's happening here. This is how life works. Because in that moment, I have an option. I have a couple options. I could say, you know, when I need people, nobody shows up for me. Like every time I call somebody when I really need them, nobody answers the phone. Like it's messed up. Like when people call me and I answer the phone, like I'm always there to help people, and I'm gonna stop doing that. I could have said that. I could have said, you know what? It's cool. Like I got it. I don't really need people. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll figure it out on my own. Like it's cool. Like, but been a little bit butthurt, like been a little bit low key angry. But what I said was thank you. Because that was God telling me you don't need the help. You got this. You know? Like you got this. You're the one that knows what you need. You're the one that knows what you want. You're the one that knows what you like. So this is your opportunity to show up for yourself without any help. You don't need it. You got God. You got you on the inside. You know what really works for you. And so I was grateful in the moment because I was like, oh, I could do this, you know? And I did. I kind of like, I did a little bit more work. I said, let me go lay down, you know? And I went to bed kind of early. And first thing in the morning, one of the people that I called me back, of course. We had a good conversation, but what I learned the night before was true, was that like, they didn't really tell me anything that I didn't know. You know, it was just kind of like a second where I guess was feeling some nerves. And even in those moments, we do want help, right? We want somebody to walk us through it, to talk us through it, but we don't really actually need the help. I am my own job. We are our own responsibility. And in those moments where we really want help and nobody shows up, like those are the moments, they're the teachable moments when it's like, no, God is telling you, you got this. You don't need anything. You are good. And that puts you in a space where like, not only are you good, but you start to attract help because you don't need it anymore. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. But anyway, me and my friend, we had a good conversation. And then when I got ready to get in the shower, I still hadn't really written too much down, you know? But when I got in the shower, that's exactly what I heard. Like, that's your conversation. You know, you gotta learn how to trust yourself. You don't need other people to show up for you. I mean, it's nice when they do, it's great when they do. But when you expect them to and you're not operating from a full place, you end up kind of like dumping on other people and putting this needy energy out there, which like nobody really likes because it's not attractive. And so instead you just have to be like really good and content with knowing like, no, I got this. God got me. And when I need help, God will send me help. Does that make sense? Like you don't ever need anything. God will give you what you need. And if God didn't give it to you yet, you don't need it. That's a word right there. But seriously, if God don't give it to you, you don't need it. And that goes for everything. Like we sometimes have a tendency to feel like, oh, I can't do this thing because I don't have enough money. God will give you the money. Start doing it. You hear those sirens? That's just confirmation. That's how life works. That's how my life works anyway. God will tell me, yep, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what our conversation is going to be like here. I talk to God a lot. God talks back as far as I'm concerned. You know, you choose what you want to hear. This is how I choose to live my life. And the reason I'm here is because God put me here to share these things with people that they resonate with, that they think they will be helpful. I've been really excited about starting a podcast for a while, but I didn't know how to do it. Like I was saying that I was ready and I was putting the energy out there, like I'm ready to do this, but it wasn't happening. And if it's not happening, you're not really ready, because when you're ready, God will give you what you need. And so I was like, kind of like, all right, I'm going to do a podcast. I'm ready. And so then a friend of mine gave me a microphone. She was like, oh, I don't need this, gave me a microphone. I was like, oh, that's a sign. And then another friend told me, I was like, all right, now what do I do? A friend told me about a website. I could do it myself. I was ready. And then my circumstances changed where I moved basically to another location. And I was like, that's not going to work anymore. I was trying to figure it out. But one thing that kept sticking out in my mind was that when I first heard of Tim Ross, I don't know when it was in his timeline, but like when I first heard of him, he was talking about when he first started his podcast, that it was so easy, that like everything just came together. Somebody wrote him a check and like everybody was on board and it just came together. And I was like, I want that. So I knew that, like I had that in my mind, but I was like, well, where's the easy stuff? You know, like when my friend gave me a mic, I was like, all right, that was easy. It was free. She just gave it to me. I was like, now I'll just do the other parts. Great. But when I had to move locations, I was like, all right, this doesn't work here. It got easier though. I had a friend that had been reaching out to me. I haven't seen her in a lot of years. She had been reaching out to me recently, like, oh, let's hang out. And I was like, okay. And so then I happened to be close by, and I was like, hey, by the way, do you know anybody with a podcast studio? And she's like, yeah, I know a couple people, but and she's like, all right, I'll just see if I can send you one. She sent me one. The first conversation I had, easy. It's like, oh, everything I need. I came to meet Kai, who's not in the room right now, but we had a great conversation, and I told him about everything. And I reluctantly was like about to tell him the name of the show, and I wasn't sure yet. And I was like, because he was like, what's the show about? And I told him, and I was like, yeah, and it's going to be called 555. And he was like, all right, cool. We kind of wrapped up the meeting, and he looked at his phone. He was like, it's 5:55 right now. I was like, you see how that works? That's what I'm talking about right there. Like, that's what I be talking about. That's God, And since then, everybody's been great. Tyler's great. It's easy, like everybody's on the same page. The energy is good. Like, that's the kind of time I like to be on, And it's like God, when it's easy, God created the lane for you. If you fighting, it's one thing, like things sometimes get complicated, but what you got to understand is if you're fighting, it's not the fight, it's you. Does that make sense? You are not ready, which is why you're still creating situations which are hard. Because if you were really ready, you would rest, you'd chill, it's happening, it's just a matter of time, and it would come to you. Are we all making sense? Okay. So like that's how things work. When you trust God and you like, I know this is coming. Like I'm not tripping. It's just a matter of time. Like when your energy is in that place, energy creates everything. Hello, we've arrived. This is what we're doing here. Everybody has a different conversation about God. Again, that's why I'm here. As far as I'm concerned, God got me here in the time that I was supposed to be here. Everything lined up easily. I couldn't have made it any easier. Everything I needed, including these flowers around the corner, showed up when I needed them. There was a flower shop 500 feet from here. Like, how much easier could that be, right? And I happen to have money to pay for them. Grateful. It sounds so corny, right? Like, but energy creates everything. We are energy. It's not that I didn't believe in God, but it's very interesting that I'm here talking to people about God because I always believed that there was something bigger than us. I knew that, but I didn't know what to call it. From a very young age as a child, like, yeah, I don't get it. I didn't get it. I was like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, my mother taught me to question things, you know? And I'm like, yo, how do you know? And nobody had an answer for me that was digestible to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't one of those kids that was like, I actually didn't even respond to do it because I said so very well. You know what I mean? Like, I was one of the like, just doesn't make sense to me. And so as I got older, that didn't change. And it was interesting because I would become friends with the most religious people because morally we would connect, you know? But like I always questioned religion. I didn't understand. I didn't understand it. And I was like, nobody could make it make sense to me. And the thing is this, I am my father's child, okay? My father was like a man's man. I love a man that leads, but naturally as a human, I'm a leader, which to me means I'm an independent thinker. You know, like I lead by example. I know who I am. I'm secure in who I am. Like I lead me. Like I don't need to lead everybody else, but leaders lead themselves, right? And then naturally people don't mind following you because they trust you, because you can lead you. Listen, I can't follow somebody that can't lead themselves. Where are we going? That makes sense? Okay, anyway. I say that to say, when we would have these conversations about religion, somebody's telling me to believe because they say so? Why would I do that? Like, who are you? You're another human like me. Why would I? I mean, no offense, but like, what makes your word any better than mine? I would have these conversations about religion and I didn't get it. And I wanted people to make it make sense to me genuinely, because I was like, I was the kind of person that wanted to do the right thing, you know? And so I was like, you know, I want to do the right thing, but I don't want to do it just because you said so. That makes me a follower, right? And like, I didn't even understand the concept of like, if you tell me this is good and I say, oh yeah, I agree with you because you said so, I didn't form the belief on my own. That makes sense? So like, that's what I wanted. And I was like, I wanted somebody to make it make sense to me. And it wasn't happening. I have a conversation. My goddaughter has a joke with me, which is, I'm not sure where it came from, but she has a joke where she says that I say God is a turtle. And I don't remember what happened, but I feel like that came from a conversation where, knowing me, I probably said something like, if you were raised to believe that this turtle is God, that's what you would believe. Because nobody has any like, you're not telling me anything except that's how you were raised. And I'm like, okay, so you're just taking somebody else's word for it. And I was like, that doesn't work for me, right? Finally, I had a conversation with someone and they told me that they had an experience with God personally, that they went through something and God revealed themselves to that person. And I was like, see, now that I could get with. Like, so if you tell me that I'm going to have my own experience with God, why would I like not be open to that? Because that's me. That's between me. That's like if I'm meeting you, like, oh, well, I met you. It's not somebody telling me about you. That's their interpretation of you. I need my own, right? And so I was open to that though. You know, that like I had that mindset where as though I can, like, this is something that could happen, right? And then once I heard that story, I heard another story where somebody kind of like told me, a friend of mine's husband actually told me that he had a situation where he was in a car accident and the car started spinning out of control and he put his seat back and was like, I guess it's my time to go. I was like, what? Like, whose reaction is that? But he was fine. He came out of it completely fine. And I'm like, so in moments like that where you're like, all right, that wasn't me. Had nothing to do with me. And I'm still here, right? It makes you feel like, who's in charge? It can't be me because I didn't do anything. But what we did was we surrender, and you allow things to go the way, you trust that things are going to go the way they're supposed to. You trust that things are going to go the way they're supposed to. And they do. Again, this is an energy thing, right? So I'm hearing these stories and it's making sense to me. And, life kept happening. And I kind of forgot about that. I wasn't like walking around looking for God or anything, but my mind was in a place where it was open to it, right? And that's the beginning. See, we just made a full circle moment. So that's the beginning, right, of forming a relationship with God, wanting to, being open to it, right? And so I have a bunch of stories of things that have been happening through my life. The way we got here is that angel numbers became something that means a lot to me. Whenever I talk about the podcast, 555 comes up. I remember the first time I really went to like a coffee shop to go sit down and like do some brainstorming, the Uber that came to get me to take me there to the Starbucks had 555 on the license plate. I swear, like I'd take pictures of this stuff if I had the thought to do that, because it happens all the time. So I looked into what 555 means in particular. And 555 is about major transitions in life. Alignment, of course, life shifts and changes and transitions, and how we navigate those, I think, is important to talk about, because that determines how our life goes, right? So my conversation here is for people that want to change their life ultimately, that want more, because that's what I've always, I think, wanted, but I didn't know, like, how do I get more? What is more? Like, work harder or put more out? Like, what is a fulfilling way to get more? And the answer is God. I'm going to say that, period. It's a loaded answer because God means a lot, but it's also open to everybody's interpretation, My conversation with God has been about navigating life recently and using my voice to do that. I've always been in entertainment and, singing and dancing and all this stuff, but I'm realizing as time goes on that what I've always really been looking for is God, because when you're your most creative, when you're your most authentic self, that's God. That's you being connected to the source that creates us. So however you get into that state is your thing, right? And I used to always think like we fight to do this one thing. And sometimes that's not the thing that gets us there, Because again, it shouldn't be that hard. Like it's gonna take work, but if you're aligned, you'll walk right into it. We've seen the best singers, the best artists, the best creatives, the best anybody really, right? When they're really in their best, it looks like God. Like they look flawless. That's not a human thing. We can't do that. God does that. And so our goal, if we're interested, my goal is always to get to that place. And the more you get to know God, the easier it is to get there, because again, we're energy. When things happen, how do we react to them, right? Because that determines everything. 5 minutes ago, the air went on. An old version of me would have gotten frustrated because it's taking up time. But today I said, maybe I need a second to look at my notes and pivot and figure out what I'm talking about and regroup. It's helpful. Like everything in life is put there for you. It's a gift if you receive it that way. If you feel like life is against you and it's like, oh, the air is on. Maybe the air is supposed to be on take a break. You know what I'm saying? Gather yourself. Like it's an opportunity. Everything is an opportunity. And if you're open to that and you look at things that way, your whole life becomes easy. Like it's supposed to go that way. And once you start looking at things that way and you accept things that way, everything gets easy. Life is easy because you're not cranky. You're not grumpy all the time. You're not mad all the time, because that anger, when it rains, it pours. Yeah, because you're angry. So of course, that's the way energy goes. Right? Let's talk about the law of attraction for a little while. The way energy works is that like attracts like. Like this is, I don't know if this is considered a woo-woo, but this is where I live. So just go with it, okay? And this is what it really is. Like I don't know why people call it woo-woo, because it's the most logical thing actually. Like it makes way more sense than what we're doing out here. Like just trying to figure it out. Everything is energy, right? You get what you put out, and it is just that simple. But what you really put out, like, so if somebody's like, you ever met those people that they're like, yeah, I'm having a great day, but their attitude is gross? Like, lip service is not what we're talking about. You could say that you're great, and I'm not even talking about nasty people or whatever that is. I'm talking about people that are stressed out, people that are anxious, people that are angry, people that are overwhelmed. Whatever's bubbling under the surface, that's what's real, not what you're projecting to people. Which is why a lot of what you're imitating, or what we're imitating, that's not really what you want, because those people are not really happy. Life is about what you want. Gotta figure out what that is. Like, what's the most important thing to you? And that will help you determine like how you want to move. So the way law of attraction works is you get whatever you put out. So if you're grumpy, under the surface, if you're stressed out, if you are overwhelmed, if you're feeling spiteful, if you're unhappy, like if you're mad at yourself, if you're mad at your parents, if you're mad at your ex, underneath the surface, and let's not always use the word mad, if your feelings are hurt, if you're feeling like I don't want to jump out there and use the word victim yet, because everybody doesn't understand that later. But if you're feeling like woe is me, like life is so hard and it's happening to me, all of that energy is going to continue to bring you stuff just like that. If you think your life is hard, it will be hard. If you know life is easy, it is. We are in control. And that is because our energy, the highest level of vibration of energy that we can have, that's what God is. God is in you. So when you're most happy, genuinely, that's God. You're in alignment. You're in the flow. That's when amazing things happen. And so the more often we can get to that place, the better our life will be, because we'll attract better things. And you can do that on purpose. That's what the woo-woo people mean when we say you create your own reality, because your energy literally gets you exactly what you want. And I use the word want, but what I mean is exactly what you're asking for, because you're asking for whatever your attention and whatever your energy is on. That's why people go, oh, I knew that was going to happen. Yeah. But if you knew something else was going to happen, something else would happen, right? We create it. It's literally our energy that creates it, so you have to be proactive. And I know it sounds hard, because people are like, yeah, it must be nice. People are quick to be like, oh, it sounds easy. You have no idea what my life is like. I'm just telling you where my mind is. Don't assume ever. Like this is work. And we'll get into my story, only because, again, God called me here to tell my story so that we can understand that it is really a choice. It's really perspective. It's really mindset. And I can teach you how to do it. You'll be happy all the time. Not all the time. Like, we're humans, we go through stuff, but you feel it and then you let it go. Like, you understand that's that moment, I can let it go. But I want to talk about grief. I lost my dad in 2020, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It sounds bad, but it's the best thing that happened to me today. The old me didn't want to be here anymore. My father's my best friend in the whole world. But it's perspective. Like, it's all a gift. I've grown so much since then. And so I want to make sure to incorporate that conversation, because we lose people, and a lot of people lose people, and then they lose themselves because they don't know how to interpret it, right? And everything can be interpreted good. And I know it's hard to hear. I mean, I'm not going to apologize for it, because I don't mean it the way a lot of people hear it, but everything is a gift. Everything. And if you can If you can really understand that, like, and embody that and receive that when bad things happen, you use it as a lesson, you interpret it, you internalize it as something, it's hard to say good because it sounds bad, but something that is supposed to happen for your good, and then you grow from it. That makes sense. So that's what we're doing here. Welcome to 555.